All right, this is today's outdoor progress. Took an extended weekend of relative inactivity. Did some grocery shopping and took care of like cat litter, vacuumed a couple carpets. But as far as doing anything out here, going anywhere, or anything else, I really didn't. And I had a full course of a mood swing in that time, and I was able to have it without human contact and without any kind of upset. It wasn't anything like cathartic. I don't know that I really gained anything in particular other than, letting it happen without, the stress of fighting it or whatever. It's like a roller coaster ride. There's times where thoughts cross your mind during particular points of a swing or whatever, and you're just like, in my case, I get horrified at some of it. I'm like, oh my fucking God, is this going to be the time it gets me? And then it's like, no, just ride it out. And so 4 or 5 days of just a full, like, it was like comprehensive, like everything that my, whatever, whether it's ultradian cycles or other, I don't know if there's any ADHD or autism HD or whatever there, I have no freaking clue. I just, of the things that I'm aware of and everything else, I was able to have like a full course, comprehensive totality of experience of what that does in a safe environment. And it was quite the trip. It wasn't deleterious either. So, I mean, not being a bad thing is as good as a good thing. So anyways, all of this to say, today I got back out to doing some cutting and such. So I came out and I mowed down this side of the pathway. Get to a different spot, different sun. This was all full of plants. So anyways, yeah, I cut to there. This is kind of a water drainage that comes off of the yard here. And what used to flow out, I don't know that water ever still comes out of there from the old downspouts and everything. But anyways, so the water still kind of flows this little gully. And I got trees that are down, and obviously I'm going to have to do some work with. So anyways, I got this mowed down to here. Took a couple breaks in that time. Been at it for several hours now. And after getting that done, I kind of went around a bit of this. And just, moving stuff and cutting and moving stuff. And I got a ways around that way. And I kind of got up through here. And then I decided after getting some of this stuff cleared here, I would go up to the top. So I finished at the embankment after the driveway. At one point, this guy got caught in a lawnmower blade. I didn't know that was in the woods. So anyways, got this. Got down into there a bit. Let's see if we can't get a better angle. All of this. Did all of this. That got caught in the mower. I knew that was there. Got down into here before I kind of moved up along the top to move down some more, and I came into a lot of other stuff and changed plans. So more of this will eventually get mowed down. This was actually the intended spot to mow. I'm leaving that one. But everything else that isn't that kind of plant is, I got a whole bunch over here too, I think. So we're getting there, right? So anyways, I'm coming over here. This is when I started chipping away at some of this stuff here. This is where I noticed this log was leaning up with the split right in here, this tree is basically holding up the one that had fallen because the root had rotted out. So you can see some of the stuff back in there. I used the pole saw extension on my Combo Motor Echo. It's not just a weed whacker. And cut that down, got this thing out, and realized that this long, huge, crazy grapevine, I got to figure out what's going on in this tree, and I got to get some of this stuff here down. There's, oh, you can see way up there. Way up there, there's grapes. A fuckload of them. There's so many little grape, like they're baby ones that just getting started, and there's other ones that are already getting big. And it's such a big vine. And so, and you can even see here, these little areas here, there's, where's the best? Oh yeah, okay. Right there, that has a whole bunch, right there. There's a whole bunch of little wannabe grapes. So anyways, I went to see if I couldn't get that pulled down out of the tree. So I came around here with the pole saw and I undutched a little bit of this elm here. And I noticed another one that had a just absolute ton. And here you can see the top of this one going up this way. Actually, part of it goes into this top of the tree. It's already been mostly pulled down. There's creeper as well as grapes, but there's so many grapes up in there. So I'm working on figuring out how to get that pulled safely. Meantime, this other vine came down and I was able to get at it, and it was extremely long, and I've got it stretched out. I have to get some speaker wire and tie them up. But anyway, so this is all this vine here, and everywhere that it sprouted off, there's going to be grapes. And so I got one branch going off, which then branches, and they got grapes on the ends of both going up into this. So honeysuckle that I'm going to be kind of trimming back a little more, use that as a trellis. I got this one here, using this one as a trellis. And then over here, the other branch off of this had one end that was recently cut. It looks like it broke. So I dug out about 6-8 inches and put the end of that down into it and compacted the soil back. You can put, from what I understand, the end of a vine back into the ground. Because I got grapevine that I just cut into from the lawn that I'd seen the foxes were digging at it, and they get down to this grapevine, and it's just a grapevine underground. So it never comes up. The vine stays, both ends are at the root. And I cut into it, so we're going to see what happens there, if maybe one end sticks up or not, or if the whole thing dies. But anyways, these guys have got freaking some enormous grapes coming already. This is some older vines. This is branched off of the same one, I believe, that goes up into there and into there. So I got these guys started to go up. This is, I think, a Chinese olive. And this is something else. I don't know, the sawtooth one that I don't know the name of. Look at these. Now, assuming these survived the trip down, which it seems like they did, and I was very careful and gentle with how I moved them so I didn't kink them or crunch them or nothing. Hopefully they're alive still. We're going to see in the next few days. And if it rains, we'll definitely know. But, so we got mass grapage. Just the fruit are insane. There's so much, all of these. So, and then this branch comes up, and it's got 2 branches. So and then one of the branches. So they all got grapes on them, so they're all going on to honeysuckles. Meanwhile, this big dark thing right here, that is a grapevine. I thought maybe it was a fallen tree branch, and as I got closer and I cut away some of the other branches, there is a gargantuan. That is the vine right there at the bottom too. That is an enormous grapevine. That thing's got to be 20 years old. It's freaking huge, and it goes way up into this tree. So I'm seeing, as I cut off these other Dutchies and whatever, if this is possibly going to bring itself down. If I can very carefully guide it, I could do so without killing it. And then I'm going to have some really, I don't know, man. I don't know. Treetop grapes coming down. I'm kind of trying to unvine the trees, get the grapevines under control, and as many of these as I can get back or trellis, or if at some point having that thing into it means that I can, like, you know, cut the end of one of these and bury it or something too after a couple of years or whatever. We'll see what it does. But I'm trying to bring these toward the light because these will catch sunlight. And I got some branches I can trim out here. So anyways, with the afternoon sun, they'll be able to get light down here. So that's kind of what I did today, was clear this all out and explore that idea. I have a suspicion that the grapes that I keep on shorter vines with trellises like I'm doing up top will probably have sweeter grapes because they don't have to put as much, like bigger, sweeter grapes, because they won't have to put as much water into the vine, because the vine won't be as long. But these big old wild ones, they still make grapes and they still make excellent wine. So any of these that I can save, especially if a giant old vintage like that, I would love to have that in the collection. So, and this big old crazy thing here, they're everywhere. These are another one going up there. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get that down or not. I tried pulling and it wouldn't come. I don't want to break the vine. So that's how we're starting June off. You can see we got it tamed back a bit. There's other stuff I got to clip out and tend to, but it's getting there. And there's definitely lots of grass in the bottom of it too. Mulching the soil. Hopefully this will spring into some serious wildflowers and grapevines. So anyways, yeah, I'm going to be finding these all over, and I'm going to be attempting to keep them alive, bring them down, or tame them, or whatever that I need to do. I'm going to learn more about it, and then I'll figure out what I can do with it. So that's what I got for this video. Enjoy the sunlight dapples. It's quite arborous here, and nice and cool, even though the bugs are out now pretty heavy. They weren't as bad earlier when I came in to the woods to start, and the sun was up about there, and it was just real pleasant, about 10 degrees cooler under the trees. So it's very beautiful out tonight. Golden hour. Thank you for your time.